Welcome into One-on-One on Ocean Student Radio KXUI, Sunlink Channel 112. Live from Studio 318, I'm joined by Logan Mosier. Logan, it's another weekend of college football. It has been a tumultuous week here in Stillwater. Things do not quite seem right, but we're not going to talk about the Cowboys because there's nothing to talk about. Not on One-on-One.
Yeah.
We're not going down that road today. But we're going to start with the Big 12. It's a big weekend every weekend, I guess, is big in college football, but now top 25 teams.
Yep.
And so last weekend, Texas Tech jumped into the top 25. Texas is back in at 18. Everyone thinks Texas is back, but there are some big games, especially in the Big 12 Conference, so that is where we're going to start. West Virginia at Texas Tech. Are you looking at the game?
I am.
Don't look at the game.
Okay, all right. No, I'm not looking at any other games, so you can ask me for the next one.
Who's the favorite?
West Virginia.
By
3.5.
Okay, yes. So you did look at that one. The over-under is 72. Are you taking the over or the under?
I'm taking the over. West Virginia is going to put up most of that by themselves, I think.
So you're telling me that West Virginia is going to blow Texas Tech out of the water?
Absolutely.
I think West Virginia will win, but I don't think it will be by a blowout because West Virginia runs that 4-2-5, much like Oklahoma State. There are some differences, but what did they do to Oklahoma State on Saturday?
They ran the ball too well.
Could Oklahoma State stop it?
Nope.
West Virginia is going to have problems. I think they win, but they are going to have problems. Now I said we weren't going to talk. I don't want to talk about the things that went on in Stillwater this week, but we're going to talk about the game. Oklahoma State and Kansas. A lot of stuff's going on at Oklahoma State, but Kansas, they're 2-2, which is great for Kansas. What is the over-under?
I'm going to guess the over-under something like 55.
61.
Oh, my gosh.
You taking the over or the under?
I'm going to take the under.
I agree with you.
I'm going to take the under on that.
Who do you have winning tomorrow?
I have Oklahoma State. They're going to want to bounce back from last week, and can I guess the line?
Yeah, go ahead.
3.5 by Oklahoma State, 3.5.
Oklahoma State is 17.5-point favorites
right
now. They are 17.5-point favorites. I think you're right in the under. I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring affair.
Yeah.
I think Oklahoma State squeaks it out in a very close one, maybe like 31-24 around there tomorrow.
Yeah, I could see that.
It's a big game for this program. Seriously, I'm not making a bigger deal of what's going on. They need to go get a win tomorrow.
And you talked about it on Wednesday with Robert Allen. It's Kansas's homecoming. It's an 11 a.m. kickoff in Lawrence. We've had trouble in Lawrence the past couple seasons, so 17.5 is way too high.
Yes.
I know it's Kansas, but still.
Baylor at OU.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Now, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna go first on this one.
Okay.
Can you tell me what the line is?
God, OU minus 21.
23.5. The over-under 68.5. OU might take the over on their own because they had a hard time with Army last week. Army passed 7 times in 4 quarters and took OU to overtime. OU is going to absolutely throttle Matt Rule and the Baylor Bears. Throttle.
I totally agree. Yeah.
It's not going to be pretty. Texas is back.
Yeah.
As I said, everything's going according to plan. They got that last loss out of the way with Maryland. I mean, I knew what I was talking about, Logan. I mean, I was ahead of the curve. I was the only guy in any media that was high on Texas. Just me. Just me.
Yeah, it was just you.
Just me.
Yeah.
So I'll take full credit when they win the Big 12. We're going to have a show. We're going to have
I'll throw
cake.
a party for you. I'll make a cake. You might not like it, but I'll make you a cake.
Yeah, our cameramen are bringing presents. Oh. It's going to be a big-time affair.
Riley, David, and Liam are back there like, I did not say that.
Totally agree with it. It's never easy going into Manhattan to play Bill Snyder and the Kansas State Wildcats, no matter how bad they are. But Texas is 8.5-point favorites. The over-under is 49. Who you have tomorrow, the Longhorns or the Wildcats?
That's hard to pick because K-State likes to ruin seasons.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm so lost on this Texas team. Like, they lost to Maryland week 1. I thought it was over. I thought it was going to be a repeat. Then they take down 2 ranked teams. I mean, you can say whatever you want about that USC team, but they were ranked when they played. I'm going to take Texas. I think they're riding high right now. And, I mean, I'm not ruling out the possibility that K-State goes in there and ruins their season, but I'm taking Texas.
It's going to be a tough game in the first half. I think Texas pulls away in the second half, taking the Longhorns. Iowa State and TCU down in Fort Worth. Iowa State upset. I think they were number 4 at the time last year, TCU.
Yep.
TCU's 2-2. They've lost 2 weeks in a row to Ohio State and to Texas. Who wins this game?
Oh, TCU.
3-4 combined record between the two teams.
TCU, the Ohio State loss, like that's more of a reasonable loss than the
Still counts though.
It does. It does count, but I don't put it as big of a loss as like the Texas loss, because Ohio State is a top 4. They're probably going to be in the college football playoff. That's a good loss. I don't know if there is such a thing as like a good loss. You know what I mean?
But there's better than others. Let's put it that way.
That's one of those better than others losses, and they're going to want to win. They're probably hungry for a win because they were coming into the season as the guys looking to upset OU, and now they've lost to Texas. So they're going to be looking to bounce back in some way, and it's in Fort Worth.
Yeah, I will take TCU. I don't think it'll even be close. I think Gary Patterson's not one to like losing. So let's move on to the top 25. There's 2 top 10 games this weekend, and that is where we're going to start. Excuse me, we'll start in the SEC. Dan Mullen is going to Mississippi State, a place that he just recently left.
Mm-hmm.
Who wins that game? Well, first of all, does Dan Mullen get off the bus without getting hit in the head with a flying object?
Yes, he does not get off the field, though, without getting hit by a flying object.
Okay, so does Dan Mullen go in and beat his old team, Mississippi State, or do the Bulldogs pull off the upset?
The Bulldogs are he's not going in there and beating his old team, that's for sure. He seemed to have left a better situation.
Well, I think ultimately Florida's a better situation, but right now, Mississippi State's good because of what Dan Mullen did there.
Right.
But he left players that he recruited, and he left players that he coached. He left a lot of relationships and probably ticked a lot of people off. Mississippi State steamrolls Florida tomorrow by a lot. Right now, Mississippi State's a 7-point favorite. I'm taking Mississippi State by like 20.
Yeah, you think it's just because all those guys are...
And I think that's a big part of why they lost to Kentucky last week.
Yeah.
Is because they have those emotions. I could be wrong. You know, I'm not a believer in Kentucky. But when you're looking ahead to something that personal, I think it certainly affected Mississippi State. I think that they steamroll Florida this weekend. Now, Virginia Tech at Duke. If I would have told you this, that one of these teams would be ranked at week 4 in the season, you probably would have told me Virginia Tech.
Yes.
But the Blue Devils are undefeated, number 22 in the nation, and Virginia Tech was an absolute joke last week as they lost to Old Dominion. Old Dominion, I'll say it a third time, Old Dominion.
Is that the biggest upset in the past 10 years?
Yeah, probably. As far as an FCS team beating a Division I team in the last 10 years, probably. I know Virginia Tech got beat by, was it Richmond or the team in Virginia, or James Madison went into Blacksburg and beat Virginia Tech not that long ago, so they're kind of familiar with it. But probably because Old Dominion wasn't a good FCS team. They hadn't won a game.
Right.
So that was a huge upset, and they beat them by 2 touchdowns. You're taking the Blue Devils or the Hokies in Durham?
I can't. It's not basketball. I can't take Duke. It's not basketball. I'm taking Virginia Tech in this one.
I'm taking the Blue Devils.
You said something a couple weeks ago, and it stuck in my mind. People don't like to lose that badly.
Yeah,
and we just talked about it. It's probably the biggest upset in 10 years. They are embarrassed. They're going to go out mad. I don't think Duke's ready for that. Fun fact, though, Duke and Kentucky are both ranked in football for the first time ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
And I think we looked at the stat. It was like 500 sometimes they've been ranked
in basketball.
It's kind of crazy. Now let's go to our top 10 matchups. Ohio State and Penn State. The number 4 Buckeyes, Urban Meyer's back. Who cares? And Penn State, it's a whiteout in Happy Valley. Is a huge game in the Big Ten.
It is.
Right now, Ohio State's 3-point favorite. The over-under is 69.5. Who you got?
Penn State. I think Ohio State's going to miss Bosa, who is out for an indefinite amount of time, if I remember right.
Bad surgery there.
Yeah, and I mean it's odd to me that Ohio State's favored at Penn State, especially with that injury. I think Urban Meyer coming back makes more of an improvement than something. I know he could be there during his suspension from Monday to Friday, or even Monday. Was it Monday to Friday? Something like that. Either way.
Yeah, Urban Meyer, when he could be there, he could be there after kickoff to before kickoff. The only time he couldn't be there was game time.
So, yeah, I don't think they missed him as much as I thought they would going into the season. I thought they were going to lose that TCU game, but I think he's going to make a big deal in the game.
I think that Ohio State doesn't just beat Penn State. I think they beat them by over 20.
You think so?
Yeah, I don't think Penn State's that good. Look at the games that they've had trouble with. At Illinois, Appalachian State, they had to go into overtime.
Yeah.
The Pitt, was competitive in the first half. And Dwayne Haskins is so good, so good. He's almost passed for 1,200 yards already.
Mm-hmm.
Give me the Buckeyes all day. All day they're blowing Penn State out. Now, between the smart kids, it's Notre Dame and Stanford. I didn't want to call them nerds, but
well,
the rich, smart kids at Stanford and Notre Dame, number 7 and number 8, in South Bend. Who are you taking?
I'm taking Notre Dame.
Stanford had problems.
They
They
did.
barely came back and beat Oregon. But
Yeah.
Notre Dame hasn't been impressive since that first win of the season over your Jim Harbaugh and the Fighting Wolverines. So
That's mostly why I'm picking them to win this game.
right now Notre Dame's a 5.5-point favorite. I think that's a little bit ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'm taking Stanford by a field goal late. Game-winning field goal.
What do you think of the over-under at 52? Are you taking that over or are you taking the under?
I'm probably taking the over. Because, I mean, you think, a 31-28 game is not unrealistic in college football these days.
That's true.
That's an easy over to hit. I'm taking the over on that, and I'm taking the Stanford Cardinals in a close one, game-winning field goal. Now let's go to the SEC. The Kentucky Wildcats, number 17, 4-0. Their quarterback's from right down the road in Oklahoma City. And South Carolina's 2-1, Will Muschamp. They are playing at Kroger Field in Kentucky, the toughest.
Why you gotta be like that to Alexis? She's not even here today.
Because, I mean, I buy, okay, Kentucky's good, but I'm not buying that there's any home field advantage in Kentucky whatsoever.
There might be now.
Well, now that more than 7 people show up, it's not Rupp Arena. It's
Yeah.
still Kentucky football. They're 4-0. I don't care. It's still Kentucky football. It's not basketball. South Carolina is Kentucky's -1 right now. The over/under is 51.5. Give me the over and give me the Gamecocks.
To outright win?
Outright by 10.
Yeah, I want to pick South Carolina to win this one because, I like to put on a front on the show and act like I'm all for Kentucky. And I love Kentucky. Like, I love their basketball program.
But you're a truther, as you've said
I
before.
do.
You are
I
a
am.
truther.
But I also like to be on Alexis's side and, poke you a little bit about this. So I'm going to pick Kentucky to win by at least a touchdown, maybe 10 points.
That's cute. That's cute. That's not going to happen. I respect the pick, but
We'll
no.
wait for Monday to see who has to apologize.
I'm not apologizing. My apologies are over. They've been said. Now Kentucky's 4-0, so they get some respect.
Yeah.
Not from me. No.
Quick question about how much you believe in Kentucky. Do they make a bowl game?
Well, yeah, they're 2 wins away from a bowl game.
I'm just saying.
Well, they're going to play in the Popeyes Bahamas Bowl, and we can buy T-shirts because they'll be worth $6, and Kentucky will forget about it. And then basketball season will start, and everyone will forget that this magical 4-0 start ever happened. So we got to wrap it up. We got to start going a little bit faster. Number 20, BYU, up in the Pacific Northwest to take on number 11, Washington. That is a sneaky good game at 7:30.
I'm taking Washington.
Taking Washington, I think that's a pretty good pick. I think.
Yeah, I'm taking them to cover. They're 17-point favorites. I'm taking them to cover and to win.
I think that's a good pick. I'm taking Washington. I think it will be relatively close. BYU's little magical run is over. Now, Oregon and California, number 19 and 24 in the country. Oregon's looking to bounce back after blowing that huge lead over Stanford last week. The Ducks or the Bears?
Bears. I think Oregon's going to struggle again. I don't know if they're going to shake that off in 1 week.
I think Oregon will play very well. I think they have a really good coach who knows how to bounce back from these things. I'm taking Oregon. But we do have to take a quick break before we get back and jump into our NFL, and then we'll get into fantasy and a little bit of baseball here at the end of the show. We want to thank one of our sponsors, the Oklahoma Air National Guard. Contact Oklahoma Air National Guard at 800-GO-TO-ANG or visit their website at goang.com/OK for more information about how to get 100% college tuition. We'll be right back on One-on-One Ocean Shooting Radio KTY, Suddenlink Channel 112.
Selecting a major can be difficult.
It's okay to be undecided.
Connect with the College of Arts and Sciences, where your options are endless.
Where you can uncover your passions and achieve your goals.
Express your creativity by exploring a career in the visual and performing arts.
Investigate new discoveries to make the world a better place with a career in science.
Advance knowledge, communicate progress, and contribute to a healthier planet with a career rooted in the social sciences.
Discover your career by looking at the world from different perspectives through the humanities.
Realize a better tomorrow through problem solving and mining data that can change lives.
CAS prepares you to succeed through internships, study abroad, student-guided research projects, and service activities.
With 109 majors, 52 minors, and 24 departments, the only thing missing is you. College of Arts and Sciences.
Connect.
Achieve. Succeed.
When you have a team of physicians and nurses that really truly care about their patients, that translates into patient care.
It's a small practice, it's a small town. Everybody really takes that time to put the patient first.
Everybody cares what's happening to me and that I'm making progress and I'm gaining my freedom back and my mobility back. This patient is saying thank you.
This spring, I invite you to shop in downtown Stillwater. Downtown Stillwater is home to locally owned shops, boutiques, eateries, and dependable professionals that you can trust. Find the perfect gift for your graduate, have a delicious meal with mom, or just stop in to enjoy great spring savings. By creating a demand for local goods and services, you can ensure a place for the local businesses that help give our community character and keep it unique. On behalf of Downtown Stillwater, thank you for shopping local.
Welcome back to One on One on Ocean Student Radio, KXUY, Sunlink Channel 112. We're live from Studio 318 here on the beautiful campus of Oklahoma State University. Logan, last night was a fun game for a lot of reasons. I got some fantasy points. I saw Chris lose some fantasy points. It was a fun time. The Vikings lost. Not a Viking hater, but sometimes Chris gets a little angry.
I think you're a Minnesota hater.
I'm a Minnesota truther. I believe it's snowing up there right now, or they're getting some flurries. It is September. So, just come down to Oklahoma where we don't have snow until like March if it ever happens.
I was about to say if we ever get any snow.
Well, let's talk about last night. As the Rams improved to 4-0, they look to be the best team in the National Football League. A struggling Vikings team, 1-2-1, $84 million for Kirk Cousins. The Rams pulled away with a 38-31 victory. And when I say that, I don't want to act like the Vikings didn't play well enough to win last night. It was 38-31, and the Vikings had a chance at the end of the game, and Kirk Cousins was strip-sacked, or he just fumbled, rather. But do the Rams have the best offense and overall team in the NFL?
Yes, absolutely. And, they used to be the greatest show on turf. And I was trying to think of some other names because, they can't use the same name twice, right?
Well, it's not turf, it's natural grass.
Okay, so that was one of my names. Like, are they the best team on grass? Is that a good name? Would that work?
No. They're in LA. They need something a little bit better. It's a little bit flashy, something more Hollywood.
I'll have to go back to the drawing board on that, though. I'm going to come
up with the Showtime grass?
Yeah.
You can do better. You're more creative than that. I have more faith in you. You are much better than that. Logan,
I'll
you
spend
can do
more
better
time
than
on it.
Showtime grass.
I'll come up with something on Monday. I'll have a good name for you.
All right,
but
I'll give you the weekend. They
totally showed that they were the best. They were the best team in the NFL. The Patriots are shaking in their boots, Everyone's always like, the Patriots are falling apart. And I'm not saying that, but I'm saying this team, if they met them, they would have some trouble.
They would have trouble. Now, as I said the other day, the Patriots, their pulse is weakening. They don't have a very strong heartbeat. But until they're dead and in the ground, I'm not looking at the Patriots. I do not lose an ounce. I'm terrified to play the New England Patriots. As good as coach as Sean McVay is and as good a roster as they have, anytime you play Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots, I mean, you think that Kyle Shanahan didn't think they were dead? He did because he tried to throw it 3rd and 1.
Yeah.
And said he got sacked and pushed back into field goal range. There's a lot of people that have thought they've been dead. Listen, Pete Carroll thought he could throw from the 1. Thought he was going to kill him then. Now they came back from the dead, and they've won 2 Super Bowls since then. They thought the Patriots were dead in 2014 when the Chiefs blew them out in Arrowhead. They won the Super Bowl that year.
I'm not saying that the Patriots are dead. I'm just saying this team would give them trouble. Kind of like how the Falcons did. I'm not saying that they would choke like the Falcons did.
No, that's hard to do.
What do you think Tom Brady's thinking sitting at home if he's watching this game and Brandon Cooks is out there doing what he's doing?
What's Tom Brady thinking right now? I'm worth, with my wife, about $700 million.
You don't think he's upset that they traded Brandon Cooks for – did they end up using that pick on Sony Michel? Is that right?
So, I think Brandon Cooks didn't fit well with what they were trying to do in New England, and not a lot of people do.
Yeah.
But, no, because Tom Brady's been able to – and the Patriots have been able to plug and play with guys forever. They have never had a star-studded roster.
But who's their deep threat right now?
Edelman will come back. They're going to –
I would just like to have kept Cooks. That's all. If I'm
Brady,
Brady,
it would have been nice to have him.
yeah,
Yes.
If I'm Brady, I wish they had kept Cooks. That's all I'm saying about that.
Well, we got off on our Patriots
Yeah.
tangent, which answered a question that I was going to ask you later, but you answered it for me. You think they're in trouble, but they're not dead yet. So you are going with the Rams.
Yes.
Jared Goff last night, 26-33, 465 yards and 5 touchdowns. How many fantasy points did he have, Logan?
Man, I don't know. He probably had like 6.
How many did he have?
He had 39.3 on my bench, Reed. Okay.
And where did he have them at?
On my bench. Okay.
On your bench
God.
the day you trade for that guy.
I know.
And you leave him on your bench, Logan.
It's not the worst I've ever done, actually. You want to hear the worst guy I've ever benched? It was week 1 last year, and it was Kareem Hunt. 45 points on my bench.
No one saw that one coming.
No, but I got a lot of crap for it.
Rightfully so. But yeah, don't leave him on your bench.
I won't
anymore.
next week. Mitchell Trubisky, I've been saying this ever since. Mitchell Trubisky's going to go out and get me like 50.
What?
Yeah, that's how I have to think about it, Reed, okay? I have to justify it somehow.
Don't justify it with Mitchell Trubisky and going to get you 50 points.
Okay, he'll get me 40.
Listen, I've said a lot of things that I've had to retract. Texas is back. I was a little bit wrong on that one. May come true. I said Kentucky wouldn't win. What else have I said that didn't come true on this show? A lot of stuff. I have never, ever in my life been more confident to say Mitchell Trubisky will never, ever, ever get 50 points in fantasy football. I don't care who his coach is, Matt Nagy, Andy Reid, Bill Belichick. There's not a world out there where Mitch Trubisky gets 50 points.
Reed, why are you trying to hurt me?
He started 1 year at North Carolina.
I know,
a
Reed.
basketball school. 1 year. No one in the state of Ohio wanted to recruit him. The Bears made a mistake in drafting the guy. I think it's fair to say.
I agree. They had Patrick Mahomes, what, 10 picks later was Patrick Mahomes?
Yeah.
They messed up.
Thanks, Chicago. Thank you for that.
I'm just hoping their defense can get him in enough, like good enough field position that he can just throw something and a receiver can make a play. I'm not counting on him. I'm counting on the defense and the receivers.
Yeah, 50 points is not going to happen. Let's get into our game picks, Logan.
Okay.
The Steelers won Monday night to get their first one of the season. They are in Pittsburgh for a AFC North rival game. We both are taking the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I think they've kind of figured everything out as far as, not as far as the Le'Veon Bell situation, but just like that funk they were in. You know, they tied with the Browns, and then they go and lose the next week, I believe. I think they've kind of figured it out.
Yeah, I don't think they figured it out, but they're getting a little bit better. I think the Steelers win it in a close one. It's a Sunday night game. It's a rivalry game. It will be close. An interesting one. The Browns have more wins than the Raiders. It's Baker against John Gruden out in Northern California. We are both. No, you're taking the Raiders.
I'm taking the Raiders. I'm taking the Raiders because you mentioned they're 0-3. And this is Baker's first start. I know that Oakland defense is terrible, but I'm just hoping on something.
Hey, if they only played one half, they'd be 3-0.
Yeah.
They'd be 3-0. John Gruden hasn't quite figured out that you have to game plan for 4 quarters. Maybe he'll get there.
Maybe he learned that. Maybe he got that in the memo this week.
Maybe. But the Browns, Baker's going out and getting another win out in Oakland. Not so much because of how well they played, but the Raiders, they suck. So that's why the Browns will get a win. The Jets at Jags. We're both taking the Jags. The Jags are going to bounce back from that Titans loss.
And Sam Darnold is not ready for this defense.
Xavier Sam is struggling just a little bit. But he played 3 games in, 11 days or something?
Yeah, I think that was it. 3-11. That's hard.
Yeah, he's coming off a break, but that's not the defense you want to bounce back, especially after they're trying to prove something after losing to the Tennessee Titans. The Patriots could fall to 1-3.
They're not gonna though.
They're not. You don't think the Dolphins are 3-0?
Okay.
Adam Gase has got a good offense. They have a good defense. They are 3-0. But you think when they travel up to Massachusetts. Are they? You say they're going to win, and I do.
Yes.
I agree. How do they win? By 3, by 10, by 40?
10.
10?
10. I think this is going to be Gronk's breakout game, which we'll get into later in the fantasy segment. But I think this is where Gronk kind of comes alive.
Bucks at Bears.
Taking the Bucks.
You think that Ryan Fitzpatrick, the Fitzmagic, is going to go into Soldier Field and beat Khalil Mack and your guy, Mitch Trubisky?
I think he's playing for his job.
He's not. Come on. How many times has he thrown for 400 yards this season?
3.
How many times has he played?
4. Or 3.
3.
Sorry.
And
I'm
where's
just saying.
Jameis Winston been at?
Waiting.
Playing Fortnite in his apartment.
You don't think they're waiting to start Jameis Winston? If Ryan Fitzpatrick has a terrible first half like he did last week, you don't think they want to throw Jameis Winston out there?
You think that they're that confident in Jameis Winston?
I think they're trying to salvage that as much as possible.
What has he done in the National Football League that makes you, if you were the Buccaneers, what's he done to make you want to start him?
It's not as much as what he's done, it's what you've put into him. You've invested, you've stood by him through all this stuff. You've got to try and make him work. I think that's what the Bucs are thinking. They're going to try and make him work as much as possible. They're going to try and find any time to put him in to say he's the starter and ship off Ryan Fitzpatrick for whatever they can get.
Sometimes you just have to...
Because who's worth more? Who's worth more right now in a trade? Ryan Fitzpatrick or Jameis Winston?
Well, Jameis Winston because of the age. But Jameis Winston...
Even with the character issues?
Yeah, because, I mean, there's people that will take a risk on character. Maybe you could go to Dallas.
Landon would like that. Get all the felons.
I don't think he would like that
No,
one.
Probably not.
I'm going to take the Bears. I think it'll be close, but I think Khalil Mack, I think Ryan Fitzpatrick comes back down to earth finally this week. Eagles at Titans.
I've got the Eagles. Carson Wentz is back. It's Eagles time. You know, they kind of struggled for a while with Nick Foles. Carson Wentz play his first game back last week. I think he's just going to continue to build up the chemistry. Still no Alshon Jeffrey though, right?
I don't believe so.
That could be kind of a problem, but I think Carson Wentz gets it done.
Well, I'm going to take the Eagles as well. I think they're just too much for the Titans.
I agree. And I know they beat the Jags last week, but they kind of have the Jags number. I don't really take that as a sample size of what the Titans really are.
Yeah, I in a 9-6 game.
Yeah.
Just a bad game for Jacksonville.
Is Marcus Mariota even back definitively?
He's going to play. He didn't play well, but he did enough to win.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take the Eagles as well. We'll get to the Monday night game on Monday because of the Chiefs and Broncos, the little rivalry game for the both of us. You know who I'm going to pick, obviously.
And I think you know who I'm going to pick.
It's going to be the Broncos.
Picking the Chiefs.
I'm picking against them. I have some questions I want to ask you. The first one was, are the Patriots in real trouble? You answered that for me already. Should the Cardinals and 49ers just give up?
Yeah.
3 weeks in, just
definitely.
give up.
Yeah, especially the 49ers because without Jimmy G, what's even the point?
Yeah, and you've lost your starting running back.
Yeah.
Now I have another question that I think we could do an entire segment on this one, but short answer. Is what Earl Thomas did worse than Le'Veon Bell?
That's a good question. No, it's not. Because he, eventually came back and played for the team. I'm not saying that Le'Veon Bell's wrong for not doing that, but I think that makes Earl Thomas look better.
I think you're right. I don't think it's as bad. But at least Le'Veon Bell's like, I'm not doing anything till you pay me.
Yeah.
Earl Thomas is like showing up and getting paid, and he played really well. He's a big part of why they beat Dallas on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not showing up to practice. That's, to me, just as disrespectful as what... At least Le'Veon's like, nope.
Nothing.
I'm taking a hardline stance.
Yeah.
It's not happening. He's showing up, not showing up, deciding what he wants to do. By the way, NFL news, Jake Butt, the tight end for the Denver Broncos, is out with a torn ACL. So that, another interesting
Our high-powered offense lost another weapon. God.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
We do have to take a quick break, but we do want to thank another one of our sponsors at OSU Communications. Not sure where to park? OSU Communications has got you covered with parking tips and bus schedule information. We'll be right back on One-on-One OSU Student Radio KXUI, Sunlink Channel 112.
my mind, I was never going to walk right again. Before we were through, we had walked 23 steps. And that was my first steps of freedom. This patient is saying thank you.
Welcome back to One-on-One on OSU Student Radio, KXUY, Sunlink Channel 112, live from Studio 318 here at OSU. We have a wonderful crew around here,
We
Logan.
do. Oh, and I just want to mention, you saw that guy that was throwing the football in that bump in? Don't ever sit him. Don't
we
ever
have
sit him in
never-
fantasy football.
I have never, and Logan Mosier have never, will never say to sit Drew Brees, B-button Brees.
Yeah.
I mean, with the spin moves last week, why would I ever say that? I've never said that. The accusations that you face in this building are absolutely ridiculous.
It is.
But we're journalists, so.
Yeah.
Journalists. We try. All right, Drew Brees, let's get into our start 'em and sit 'em.
Okay.
We'll start with quarterback position, obviously, and we'll go down the start column. You have Aaron Rodgers and Phillip Rivers.
I do. Aaron Rodgers plays the Bills, and I know that didn't work out for Kirk Cousins last week, but Kirk Cousins is not Aaron Rodgers, and I think Aaron Rodgers is going to tear up that defense. And then Phillip Rivers, that Chargers team is just so good. I like them almost no matter who they play. They could, well, not the Rams because they already played the Rams, but they could play a lot of teams, and I think Phillip Rivers would be able to put up points.
Yeah, the Bills holding up the dub after last week in Minnesota. I'm going to go Drew Brees, as we talked about. Last week he had 40.5 points. He's projected 17.5 this week. I'm going to go way over for Drew Brees. He's just so consistent, and he's got the best arm. And Monday night, Patrick Mahomes, I think it's going to be a shootout in Denver because both defenses.
I agree.
I know they have Von Miller. They're going to game plan around Von Miller. I think Patrick Mahomes has over 30 points again this weekend.
Yeah, that's not a bad bet. And then moving on to running backs, Alvin Kamara. He's playing the Giants, the New York Football Giants. Now,
barely.
Yeah, they're still Giants, but they're not great Giants. I hate to pick the guys like Aaron Rodgers and Alvin Kamara and Ezekiel Elliott because they're top fantasy running backs anyway. But I think he's set up for a big game. Same with Ezekiel Elliott. I like his matchup. I don't know their projections right off the top of my head, but they're going to blow past him.
I'm going to say Phillip Lindsay because, like I just said, the Chiefs-Broncos, neither one have a good defense. And the Broncos are teetering on the edge of being an utter disaster because it turns out, surprise, John Elway's not a great general manager. He's only had 2 points last week. Listen, we could pull Riley from behind the camera over here, and he could run for 200 yards on the Kansas City Chiefs. Their defense is awful. Awful. So he's projected 10 points. I think he has around 20 this. Seriously, big week for him. And then Jordan Howard, 14 points last week. He's projected 12.6 this week against that Bucs defense. I think he goes well above that.
Yeah, and wide receivers, Emmanuel Sanders, like you said about Phillip Lindsay, that Kansas City Chiefs defense is not so good.
No.
And I mean, that's not their identity, so that's kind of expected. So, and I think he's turned into the number one in Denver. I think he's definitely Case Keenum's favorite. It's kind of shown through the past couple weeks. I think he's going to have a big game. And John Brown, the Steelers' defense is still. I know I said they're on their way back. Their defense is still questionable with me as long as they don't have Ryan Shazier out there. So John Brown for Baltimore is gonna have a big week. What about you?
Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to say because one of these guys on the Chiefs offense always has a big week. But Kareem hasn't had his big week yet. Travis Kelce had a big week. Hill's had a big week.
Sammy Watkins has not yet.
Sammy Watkins is almost there. I think Tyreek, he had a big year or a big game in Denver last year. He's going to be throwing up the peace sign a lot in Mile High on Monday night. So he's projected 9.6 points. I'm going well above that. And I have John Brown as well because that Pittsburgh defense is struggling. 8.1 points projected. I think he goes above that far and away.
Yeah.
So
Who do you have for
tight
tight
ends.
ends? You go
David
first.
Njoku, because the Raiders are awful. He's a
Yeah.
huge, big, physical tight end. Baker's going to get that ball out really fast, especially on some tight end slants and stuff like that. He's projected 5.6. I'd say probably around 12 points this week for David Njoku. And Travis Kelce, 11 points last week. He's projected 9.6. They do spread the wealth. Maybe Sammy and Kareem do get those big games, and maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But I think Travis Kelce, he seems to always have a big game against division rivals. Start Travis Kelce.
All right, I'm going with Will Dissly for Seattle. You know, he had that first couple weeks were big games. He had, I think, above 10 points in each. Last week it wasn't so good. I think he's going to bounce back, plays the Cardinals, and, we know
Yeah.
Cardinals are not that good. We just told them they should give up. And he's projected at 5.4 points for this week, and I think he's going to blow way by that. I think he's going to have another double-digit game. And then the other one is Gronk. I said it earlier in the show. They play the Dolphins. I think this is his best chance to have that breakout game and turn back into Rob Gronkowski before Julian Edelman comes back. And I think whenever Julian Edelman comes back, it's going to get easier for Gronk because guys can't double team him all the time. But I think against Miami, Gronk finds a way to kind of break out.
Gronk could be a Detroit Lion.
He said no. They were like, Gronk, you're going to be a Detroit Lion. He's like, actually, I'm going to be retired.
Yeah.
Peace.
Yeah, he was not going to play without Tom Brady, so.
And can you blame him?
No, but I almost to the extent he would have extended his career in Detroit because I'd say Tom Brady's not playing that much longer.
Yeah, but, I mean, do you think Gronk even wants to play that much longer? He's had a lot of injury issues.
Yeah, clearly a lot of concussions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he came into the league injured.
Right.
But imagine if he would have been healthy this entire time, what he could have done. Because he's one of the greatest of all time being hurt. Now let's get into our sits.
Okay.
I'm going to start with quarterbacks. Ryan Fitzpatrick, as I said, against that Bears defense, he's got to have to come back to earth at some point. I still don't think you should start, what's his face, for drawing a blank on his name. Jameis Winston. Yeah, I wouldn't start him. No. He's projected 18.4 points, had 25 against the Steelers on Monday night. He's coming back to earth. He's going to get sacked a lot against Chicago.
And I promise everyone, I made this list before last night's game. I don't know why you would think otherwise. Kirk Cousins had a really good game. I thought you should have sat him. I thought that Rams defense was going to give him fits. Only one turnover at the end. I thought he was going to have more than one turnover for the game. And then Derek Carr, I know I said the Raiders are going to beat the Browns, but I don't think it's going to be pretty. And I don't think it's going to be because Derek Carr.
And where's Jared Goff on your sit?
Oh, yeah, that's a good question. You shouldn't sit him. You should start. I should have said you should have started him.
Yeah.
Imagine if that was my list.
That would have been hilarious. It's
never
hilarious now.
It is.
All right, let's move on to running back. David Johnson, he's 14.4 points projected this week. Had 12 last week, but that offense cannot score points.
No.
They are awful against the Seahawks. They are going to continue that streak, set David Johnson. And Derrick Henry for the Titans. The Titans they scored 9 points in one last week. It's going to be another 9-point type game. He's projected 7.8. It's just not going to happen. Set Derrick Henry.
I'm saying sit Jay Ajayi, plays Tennessee. Tennessee has actually done a really good job of not allowing a lot of fantasy points to running backs. In week 1, only 12.7. Week 2, 10.6. And last week, only 11 points to running backs. And he's projected at 9.6 this week. So I'm going to say he's going to be maybe even around 5, which is not good for a running back. And then Isaiah Crowell, I don't like his matchup. Have I put him on the sit list for 2 weeks in a row now?
I believe so,
I think so. I just don't. He's playing Jacksonville. Like, they just have a bad schedule. And I think they're going to need him to do good because Sam Darnold's going to struggle more against that defense, I think. But Jacksonville's, again, another tough defense, so I don't like that matchup.
Yeah, let's move on to wide receiver Deshaun Jackson, 6.1 points projected, had just over 3 last week against a bad Steelers team. Deshaun Jackson he has those games where you see flashes of old Deshaun Jackson, but it's all but over for Deshaun Jackson. Again, especially Bears defense is really good defense, probably one of the best in the NFC. So set Deshaun Jackson. And Larry Fitzgerald, because, less than 1 point last week.
Yeah.
I know Josh Rosen is going to try and get in the ball, but Larry Fitzgerald's aging, and with a rookie quarterback and a bad offensive line and a bad team, set Larry Fitzgerald. Just not good for Larry Fitz.
Right, and I mean, he almost retired at the end of last year, I think. So
Probably would have been a good idea.
yeah, should have quit a year early. But I'm going with Calvin Ridley. I know he had a huge game last week, but don't expect that again. I'm not saying he can't have a good game, but definitely not.
Teams watch tape.
Yeah, teams watch tape, and I think Julio Jones is eventually going to return to that wide receiver that we've all kind of known him for. And I can't really add much more to what you said about Deshaun Jackson. The quarterback
It's over.
situation.
It's kind of like Larry Fitzgerald. It's over. Now let's go to tight end Jared Cook. It's kind of like, they're just not a good team.
Yeah.
They're not. 3.1 points last week, projected 5.5. Browns are a good defense. They are.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. So the Browns surprisingly have a good roster.
Yeah.
They do. And George Kittle, because who's playing quarterback this week in San
exactly.
Francisco? You're going to have to Google the guy.
Yeah.
And then read his Wikipedia page to learn about
But hey,
it.
he won a game once. That's what we heard before the show. Zach was telling us he won a game once.
Yeah. Tyler Palko won a game once for the Kansas City Chiefs. He had been previously cut by the California Redwoods. Okay, that's an Arena Football League team. There's a lot of guys with one win in the NFL.
Yeah. Yeah, and we said it earlier. San Francisco should give up. Without Jimmy G, there's no point. They're not going to win very many games. They weren't even doing that great with Jimmy G.
No.
But on to my tight ends, Zach Ertz. I don't like the matchup. Are they playing the Jags? That's correct. Jacksonville Jaguars. He's projected at 7.3 points.
Ertz?
Yeah, Zach Ertz. The Eagles.
No, the Eagles are playing. They are playing the
Okay,
Titans.
I was about to
Sorry.
say.
No, I was thinking of the Jags last week.
Yeah.
You're right. They're playing the Titans.
Okay. So I don't like the matchup. He's projected at 7.3 points.
Yeah.
Maybe Carson Wentz. I could see him having a bigger game just because Carson Wentz kind of likes him as the best receiver out there. But I'm not predicting him to have a huge game. George Kittle, like you said, give up. There's no point in San Francisco. You should scratch off San Francisco players, Cardinals players. We thought Bills players, but I think I've kind of unscratched them off after that Minnesota game.
Josh Allen comes out, and he's a track star. He's jumping over Anthony Barr. They're going for the win.
Yeah.
The Bills surprised everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone. I believe they even surprised Chris a little bit.
Probably.
Fun stuff when the Vikings lose around here. But, hey, the Chiefs are going to struggle at some point this season, and I will be here to take all of the criticism that I've not yet faced. And I know we're going to talk Monday a lot about that Monday night game because I'm a Chiefs guy, obviously, as we talked about, and you are a Broncos fan. Why, I'm not really sure, but you are. I won't hold it against you until Monday.
Okay.
It's going to be hard to do a show with you Monday because I just really don't want to talk to you on Monday.
I don't know why. I know how it's going to end. I'm surprised you don't know how it's going to end. You know how it's going to end.
How is that?
I'm going to save it for Monday, but you should not be worried. Little spoiler alert.
I am always worried. One time the Chiefs went 11-5 3 years ago, went to a winless Oakland, and lost on a Thursday night. Okay?
Yeah.
Anything can happen in the National Football League. You look at, not to be bringing it up so much, but you look at Buffalo, the biggest upset since 1995, I believe.
Man.
When you're playing professional teams, it's not like college football where you throw $1 million at South Alabama for a win.
Yeah.
No one gets paid to play each other in the National Football League. They're all professional athletes who have a lot of pride. It's not the same as college football.
That's true. I agree. Everyone's there for a reason. Everyone's a pro in the NFL. But I'm just going to – this Broncos team started very similarly last year. And, we went and played the New York Giants one night on – I think it was a Monday or a Thursday night, and we ended up losing that game. And then it was all downhill from there.
For you and the Giants.
Yeah.
Is there a surprise guy in fantasy football? Last week it was Calvin Ridley. Off the top of your head, is there anyone that's really going to just have a breakout performance this year?
I think there's a guy that's flying under the radar a little bit, and that's Tyler Boyd.
Who?
Tyler Boyd, a wide receiver for the Cincinnati Bengals. He is leading the team in receiving yards. He is ahead of A.J. Green, and he has 2 touchdowns on the season already. So that's a guy to watch for. He's on my team.
He's beating A.J. Green in receiving yards?
Yes.
That's why Andy Dalton shouldn't be your quarterback.
I agree, but that's how it is.
How many points is he going to have this week? Just give me I'm talking breakout.
I'm talking like 25, 30 points.
Oh, Logan.
I'm just saying.
25 to 30
They're
points.
playing a ravaged Atlanta defense.
All right, we have to take another quick break before we get back and talk about baseball. It is almost playoff baseball here for America's pastime, but we want to thank a couple of our sponsors at Oklahoma Christian University. Get your master's degree in accounting, business administration, theology, engineering, computer science, or cybersecurity from Oklahoma Christian University. Apply at oc.edu/grad for more information. And Unitarian Universalist Church. If you are looking for a church home, visit Unitarian Universalist Church of Stillwater, located at 320 South Stollard Street. We offer an alternative spiritual path and welcome all races, religions, and beliefs. LGBTQ friendly. Services every Sunday at 10:30. We'll be right back on One-on-One Ocean Street Radio, KXCY, Suddenlink, Channel 112. Welcome back to One-on-One on Ocean Street Radio, KXCY, Suddenlink, Channel 112. Logan, would you throw at somebody if you were at risk of losing $500,000 for me?
I'm not CC Sabathia. I'm not doing that. I'm not risking
You're a bad
500 grand.
co-host.
That's so much money.
Listen, if I was going to be paid $500,000 to make it through this show, but Riley did something behind the camera, or one of our cameramen or somebody upstairs in our crew did something really bad to you, and I throw a baseball at him, I'd do it. I just do it for you because I'm that good of a teammate. Just like CC Sabathia, I'd do it. I'd throw a baseball at somebody. Forget the $500,000.
For $500,000?
Logan, it's about team spirit. It's about camaraderie. It's about being a good teammate, and I'm a good teammate. I'm not sensing that you're a good teammate.
I guess I'm not, but I would go to the locker room. I would go to the dugout and be like, "Hey, man, I'll get him next time. I'll get him next year whenever we play, because I got to make $500,000. That's a bunch of money. That is so much money, Reed. How can you? That is so selfless. You are crazy. I don't even believe that.
I'm a crazy good teammate.
I would want you to take the $500,000. I would want you to beam Riley in the head with a baseball if he did something bad to me.
That's fair. In all seriousness, CC Sabathia, he's an old school baseball guy. He threw back at him after they shouldn't have thrown at the Yankees, and then the Rays are sitting in the dugout. How could you throw it? It's 11-0. Well, why'd you throw at the Yankees?
Yeah.
CC Sabathia didn't. He was trying to back a guy off the plate, and he didn't get out of the way.
And actually, there's a chance he could still make his $500,000. He's got a couple of games left. He could get in there. I think he only has to pitch 2 more innings.
Yeah, Aaron Boone should just put him in for a couple innings.
I agree.
Brian Cashman probably wouldn't like that. But CC Sabathia to risk $500,000, That's pretty.
That
That's
is.
awesome.
That is. I agree, but it's something I would not do. And I have no shame saying that. I have no shame looking into a camera and saying I would throw a baseball at someone, or I would not throw a baseball at someone if it were going to cost me $500,000. That is so much money.
Do it for the show, man. I'd do it.
You know what I could do with the $500,000? Put it into the show.
So if you did get the $500,000, you would reinvest it into the show.
Yes, I would be like, Reed, I feel bad.
Okay, so you are somewhat of a good teammate.
Yeah, I'm just.
Okay.
It's me,
I'll
then
take
the
that.
team.
I'll take that. I accept that answer.
Okay.
But speaking of the Yankees, we're going to get in and talk about some baseball. If we have time left, we're going to mention our guy Bryce Harper, who is going to make a little bit more than $500,000 this offseason. Maybe north of $400 million. But if we have time, we'll get to that.
That makes me sick.
Yeah, you and me both. The AL is set.
Yeah, basically.
The Boston's clinched Houston. The Indians, they've all clinched the division.
Yep.
And
We're just waiting on the wild card, and not even the wild card, just the wild card seeding, like who hosts.
Right, yeah. So the AL picture is set. Who wins that game? And not if it's in New York. It looks like it's probably going to be in Yankee Stadium. Are you taking the Yankees or the Athletics?
Oof. I'm taking the Yankees.
The Yankees?
Yeah. And
okay, that's fair.
I think for it to end up in Oakland, Oakland would have to sweep their next series, and New York would have to get swept by Boston. And Boston just doesn't have anything to play for. They've already clinched. They've already clinched the best record.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I agree with
I think
that.
we can basically say it's in New York at this point.
Yeah. Who are you taking once it gets to that? So you're saying the Yankees win. They go on. Do the Yankees have a legitimate chance to win the World Series or even a pennant?
No. Because after they beat Oakland, they got to go play Boston. And I know we talk about Boston, choking early when they're supposed to win.
Yes.
I don't think that'll happen. This Red Sox team is something special.
Yeah. I think this Red Sox team is really good. I think once they get into it with the Astros, though, an experienced managerial staff is going to come into play. And I think the Astros probably make it back to another World Series. But the things are set in the AL.
Yes.
The NL,
The
not
exact
so
opposite.
much. Oh, as the Braves, they're the surprise team. And we could also talk about Jacob deGrom, that poor guy. Oh, man. He probably would be considered – it is considered one of the greatest seasons in modern baseball history. But because of how bad the Mets are, it is just not a topic of conversation.
He has, a 1.7 ERA and 11 wins?
Yeah, and 270 strikeouts.
Yeah. That's insane. What was the record you were telling me if they had just scored 2 runs in his starts?
He would be like 28-1 if they wouldn't have ever allowed more than 4 runs.
That's
insane. It was insane. But to the NL, the Braves, no one saw it coming, but the Braves are going to the playoffs. That new stadium they built, and no one really knew why they built it. I guess for this, they knew something we didn't know. They have a lot of young talent in Atlanta. I don't think that Atlanta's going to win the World Series.
No.
Once they run into some of these more experienced teams. I'm glad to see Freddie Freeman back in playoff baseball, but the Braves they might be good for a long time, but not
yet.
Not this year. But they were a surprise, maybe a little bit ahead of schedule.
Mm-hmm.
They will get there, though. So the Braves are in there. The Cubs are in. They haven't clinched the division, but the Brewers, shout out to Jordan King, the Milwaukee Brewers are going back to the playoffs for the first time in a long time. So it's the Cubs and Brewers. But that's where it gets interesting. The Dodgers are one game ahead of the Cardinals in the wild card right now, and the Rockies are leading the NL West, but there's still some baseball to be played.
Yes.
Do the Rockies get that division title, or do they choke, 1, and not win the division, and 2, fall out of the wild card? So just a game, 2 games up on the Cards right now.
Yeah, and there's 3 games left?
Yes.
I think they can hold on to the division. I know. Yeah, I hate to say this team makes me nervous, but I think that Colorado can hold the division, and maybe I don't think they beat the Braves, but I think they'll make it to the playoffs, and I don't think they'll have to play in the wild card to get there. I do think the Dodgers will also hold on. I think because who do the Cardinals play? The Cardinals play the Pirates. Is that right?
The Cardinals are finishing off. If I can pull it up here. Sorry, I have the Dodgers pulled up.
They're playing the
St. Louis Cardinals. Good Lord, this is just turning into a mess. The St. Louis Cardinals finish off with getting the full schedule. 1 second. ESPN is taking me all these different ways. They finish off with 3 games at Wrigley Field.
Oh, okay.
2 games left. They are playing right now, actually.
Are they up right now? Is there?
Now I got to find another
I'm,
score.
I'm sorry, Reed. I'm asking you all the hard questions, but the Dodgers have to go to the Giants. That much I know, that for sure, and that's going to be tough. I mean, I know the Giants aren't in the hunt for anything, but the Giants always kind of give the Dodgers some kind of trouble. So
The Cubs are up 4-2,
okay,
top of the 7th inning.
so that's good if you're a Dodgers fan. It's
Yeah.
not so good if you're a Cardinals fan, but
No,
we'll have to see.
it's really good if you're a Cubs fan, like
Yeah.
really good. Okay, so who's gonna go to the World Series out of the NL? Who makes it out?
I can't pick the Dodgers again. I'm thinking the Cubs are going back. I'm not saying they're going to win. Could you imagine going 106 years without winning a World Series?
108.
Or 108.
And then winning 2 and 3.
Yeah. I don't think that'll happen, but I think the Cubs are going to be the team to go out of the NL. What about you? What are you thinking?
Probably the Astros, and I'm going to shock you a little bit. I'm going the Brewers.
Really?
A lot of talent from that 2014
Yeah.
Royals team. They know how to win.
So are you saying, are the Royals going to be able to take that spot from the Cubs and win the division? Or
The Royals? No, they're going to be at home watching the game.
No. The Brewers.
No,
The
yeah.
Royals were
I
out of it
think-
a long time
I don't
ago.
know how well I don't know if the Brewers win the division. Probably not, but I think that they end up
Yeah.
going to the World Series.
Jordan Kings will be happy to hear that. That's for sure.
The Brewers will be bigger than the Packers for about a week.
until the Packers play again.
Before we get out of here, how much would you pay Bryce Harper?
Oh,
He's looking at
yeah.
north of $400 million
Not that.
contract.
Not that. I would. I even hate to say this. I would give him like $300 million. But I even hate to pay him that. I think he's way overhyped.
Is this his last game
Yes.
in DC? Okay. We'll talk about where he's going to sign later on when baseball's over. But we do have to get out of here. We'll be back at Monday at 2:30. Be sure to watch Oklahoma State tomorrow as they go up to Kansas. You've been watching One-on-One on Ocean Student Radio KXUI, Sunlink, Channel 112. We will see you Monday.
The major can be difficult.
It's okay to be undecided,
Connect with the College of Arts and Sciences, where your options are endless.
where you can uncover your passions and achieve your goals.
Express your creativity by exploring a career in the visual and performing arts.
Investigate new discoveries to make the world a better place with a career in science.
Advance knowledge, communicate progress, and contribute to a healthier planet with a career rooted in the social sciences.
Discover your career by looking at the world from different perspectives through the humanities.
Realize a better tomorrow through problem solving and mining data that can change lives.
CAS prepares you to succeed through internships, study abroad, student-guided research projects, and service activities.
With 109 majors, 52 minors, and 24 departments, the only thing missing is you. College of Arts and Sciences.
Connect.
Achieve. Succeed.
When you have a team of physicians and nurses that really truly care about their patients, that translates into patient care.
It's a small practice, it's a small town. Everybody really takes that time to put the patient first.
Everybody cares what's happening to me and that I'm making progress and I'm gaining my freedom back and my mobility back. This patient is saying thank you.
This spring, I invite you to shop in downtown Stillwater. Downtown Stillwater is home to locally owned shops, boutiques, eateries, and dependable professionals that you can trust. Find the perfect gift for your graduate, have a delicious meal with mom, or just stop in to enjoy great spring savings. By creating a demand for local goods and services, you can ensure a place for the local businesses that help give our community character and keep it unique. On behalf of downtown Stillwater, thank you for shopping local.